Good morning, students of class 3. Today we are going to learn about a very interesting story. The name of the story is Pothole. Now class, tell me what is pothole? Have you ever seen a pothole? We all have seen it, right? Students, do you have any idea what is pothole? Well, a pothole is a depression or a hollow in the road surface covered by a wear or subsidence. So a pothole is a depression or it is a hollow in the middle of the road. Okay, you might have seen a pothole when you are traveling or when you are walking on the road. You might have seen a pothole. So this story is about a very intelligent girl. Her name is Priya. She saw a pothole on the road. She noticed that there are many accidents happening daily due to the pothole. The road has become very dangerous. Priya started keeping a record of all the accidents happening. She wrote a letter complaining about the pothole, but there was no response. Finally, she decided to do something on herself. She found a basket and filled it with soil. She packed compost into a bag. She dug out a few small flowering shrubs and put them in a bag. She put an old watering can filled with water. She decided to turn the pothole into a beautiful garden, which was later called Priya's garden. So now let's go through the story. Priya looked out of her bedroom window. Another car was stuck in the road. So as Priya was looking out of her window, she saw that a car was stuck in the road. The driver and an older man were changing one of the front wheels. So she noticed that the driver was changing one of the front wheels of the car. Priya watched as the man worked in the blazing sunshine. A woman and two children were sitting beside the road under a tree, sheltering from the sun. So Priya saw that the man was working hard. He was changing one of the front wheels, and it was a bright sunny day. And she noticed that the woman and the two children, they were sitting beside the road under a tree. As it was a hot day, they were taking shelter under a tree. Priya switched on her computer. She opened her calendar and began making notes on a sheet of paper. So Priya opened her calendar and then she began to take a note of all the accidents that were happening due to the pothole. So you can see here, she is maintaining a calendar. July 24, lorry. July 26, auto. July 29, cyclist crashes. So in this way, she is maintaining a calendar. And she started to make a note of all the accidents happening due to the pothole. So many accidents in just 2 weeks, said Priya to herself. So Priya was very sad because in 2 weeks there were already so many accidents that had happened just because of the pothole. Something must be done. The road is too dangerous for the children of the kindergarten next door. So Priya is wondering. She's thinking that something has to be done, otherwise, the road will become dangerous for the children of the kindergarten next door. Priya looked out of the window again. The men had fixed the wheel and were wiping their hands on some old rags. So wiping means clean or dry something by rubbing with a cloth. So as she looked out of her window again, she noticed that the man had fixed the wheel and he was wiping his hand on some old cloth, on some old rags. The woman and the children were inside the car. Soon the car drove away. So the woman and the children were inside the car, and soon the car drove away. The big pothole in the road, like a gaping mouth, waited darkly for its next victim. So gaping means wide open. Victim means a person harmed or injured or killed as a result of crime, accident, or other event or an action. So the big pothole in the road was waiting for his next victim. Priya returned to her computer and wrote a letter. So Priya decided to do something. She returned back and she wrote a letter. A week went by. 3 weeks went by. Priya waited every day for a reply to her letter. No reply came. So Priya was waiting every day, hoping that there will be some reply for the letter that she has written. But sadly, no reply came. Every day, Priya made a new entry in her accident log. So every day she noticed that one or the other accident is happening. She started making a note of it. Auto stuck. So these are the accident that she is maintaining. Auto stuck. Cyclist fall into the gutter. Man injured. Baskets fall into road. Lorry has puncture. So these are the list of accidents that she started entering in her log. Auto stuck, cyclist fall into the gutter, a man was injured, basket fell into the road, lorry has puncture. That's enough, said Priya to herself. I'm not waiting a moment longer. So Priya was fed up. So many accidents in 2 weeks. Priya was not able to bear it any longer. Priya found a basket and filled it with soil from her garden. So as you can see here, Priya took a basket and she filled it up with her garden soil. She packed some compost into a bag. She took some compost and she carefully dug out a few small flowering shrubs and then she put them in a bag. She filled an old watering can with water. So she took some soil, she took compost and few small flowering shrubs. She filled her old water can with water. Then she found 3 long lengths of wood and some board pins. So Priya has decided to put an end to all the accident that was happening due to the pothole. She decided to turn the pothole into a beautiful garden. She placed the items near her front door. Back in her room, Priya found 3 large sheets of card. She began to write and draw on them. So Priya is all ready. She took 3 large sheets of card. Then she began to draw something on them. In the evening, Priya collected all the things and took them out onto the side of the road. So she collected all these things, and in the evening she went on the roadside. She fixed two of the sheets of card, two of the pieces of wood. So she has picked up all the things and then she went on the roadside and she has fixed the two sheets of card to the pieces of wood. She propped them up with stones. Propped means to support or to keep in position. So she has put the sign, that is road closed. At each end of the road, the sign said road closed. Priya went back to the big pothole and emptied the basket of soil into it. So after putting the road closed sign, she went and then she emptied the basket of soil into the pothole. She added compost and mixed it all together. She planted the shrubs and watered them. So she has decided to turn the pothole into a beautiful garden. So she emptied the basket of soil, she mixed compost into it, and she started planting the small shrubs and watering the plants too. She then pushed the third piece of wood into the soil and pinned the last sheet of card to it. On it, it was a colorful sign. So the third piece of wood, she has pinned it with the last sheet of card with a beautiful sign on it. Now Priya removed the road closed signs and went home. She looked out of the window. There was no pothole in the road now. So the pothole was no more visible. It was turned into a beautiful garden now. In its place was a lovely little garden. So Priya removed the road closed sign and then she went to her house and she saw a beautiful, lovely garden instead of the pothole. Soon a large crowd gathered. People stopped to look. The children from the kindergarten stopped to look. So everyone passing by stopped and looked at the beautiful garden. When traffic passed by, drivers smiled and slowed down. They drove carefully around the garden. So there was no pothole anymore on the road. It was turned into a beautiful garden. Then what happened the next morning? The next morning, a man with a camera arrived. He took lots of photos of Priya's pothole garden. So the pothole was turned into a beautiful garden. So a man arrived with a camera and then started taking pictures of the pothole garden. Shortly after that, the pictures appeared in newspaper. The chief of police arrived to have a look. Even the mayor came. So Priya's pothole garden pictures appeared in newspaper. So the chief of police arrived to have a look. Even the mayor came. Who is a mayor? A mayor is the head of a town. Now Priya's little garden was moved to the side of the road. The pothole was finally filled and a shiny new surface was put on the road. So the pothole was filled and a shiny new surface was put on the road. And Priya's little garden was moved to the side of the road. The garden today is called Priya's garden and it is full of lovely flowering shrubs. So this story is written by Nicholas Horsburgh. So students, what do we learn from this story? We learn that nothing is impossible. If we are determined to do something, we can surely achieve it. So thank you students. Hope you all enjoyed this story. I want you all to read this story once again and then underline the difficult words. Thank you.